Hello friends! We haven't had a video on this walk in a long time. Hello! Welcome to my channel. I'm Mandy Grace, author of 10 young adult novels so far. Welcome to week 1 of the QC20, I guess. I mean, that's what we're currently doing, is the QC20. But, I don't know, I feel like I just do weekly vlogs now, and I don't really have to give them a name. But anyway, yes, so the Get Grounded Challenge ended recently, yesterday, today. And the QC20, which is our next challenge, kicked off today. The transition between the two of them was not very smooth, you guys. I apologize for that. Oh, I just walked into a tree. That might have been loud on the camera, I don't know. So we are doing the QC20 now, which is, you've got 3 options depending on where you're at. Where you're at with your writing, like what stage are you in, and also where you at, like mentally, emotionally, what can you handle, are you burnt out? So the 3 options are, 1, for the next 4 weeks, 20 days, which doesn't add up to 4 weeks, but listen, we have 20 days to either write 20,000 new words, draft 20,000 new words in your story, or option 2, you can spend 20 minutes a day working in your story, whatever that looks like. Are you outlining, brainstorming? Maybe you're drafting, but you just don't want a word count goal. And then option 3 is 20 minutes a day resting, doing some kind of cup-filling, penny-earning activity every day. So, depending on where you're at and where your stories are at, you can pick which one you want to do. I'm doing writing. I want to do the 20K words because I want to start working on book 3 of the dystopian trilogy, which is book 8 of the 8 I've been rewriting for 4 years, and I'm so ready to wrap up this whole project. Hitting the end of Cindy's story and then being able to read through the whole thing and make a plan for what I want to do, editing it. Yeah. Anyway, it's got me hyped. I'm ready. I'm like, let's go. Let's finish book 7. Let's start book 8. Let's do it. So, yeah, I'm excited. Anyhow, yeah, so what I'm doing right now is I'm reading through the original book, Queen of Caradale, and just kind of making some notes on what I think will need to change, and also keep bearing in mind, like, the new book 1 that's published and the new book 2 that I have a first draft of, like how those changes also affect this story. So like all the things that I'm going to need to change, right? So I'm reading through it as if it's a first draft and making my edits plan. And then I'm going to outline and start drafting. So my hope, crazy, is that I'm going to read Queen of Caradale today. It's already like 6 o'clock in the evening, and I've been doing other things today because I had to host the kickoff for the QC20, and then I was on like a 2-hour chat prickle with a hedgie just talking about like rewrites and republishing books and things. It was wonderful. I loved that. And then I came here to the farm because it's spring break, so I'm going to spend the week here. Y'all know I love my weeks at the farm, my summers at the farm. So anyway, yes, that's where we're at. It's basically the end of the day, but I'm going to read, and then if I finish it, then I will also outline. And then once I have the outline, then I can start drafting. So the whole thing with the 20 days, 4 weeks thing is that, to get back around to that, is that we have built in 2 days every single week where you don't have to be working in your story. So for the go-getters like myself or the other hedgies who are doing the 20K words or the 20 minutes in your story every day thing, you only have to do that 5 times in a week, and you have 2 built-in days of rest. Because in the hedgie house we like to say, have I been talking for 20 minutes? My camera just shut off, but the battery doesn't seem dead. Was that? There's no way I was just talking for 20 minutes. Usually that's what when it shuts off is after 20 minutes. There's no way. I wasn't talking that much. Weird. Anyway, what I was saying was, rest is a non-negotiable in the Hedgie house. We believe very strongly in keeping our writers grounded and healthy so that they can write their wonderful stories without getting burnt out, you know? So, yeah, anyway, to that end, there are 2 days every single week of just rest. Now, if you're having a great week and you decide to write on those days, that's fine. So, over the next 4 weeks, there's 5 days every week of working in your story, which will be, for the drafters like myself, it'll be about 1,000 words a day, which is perfect because my typical writing session, drafting a story, gets me about 1,000 words. If I sit down for a prickle, which is about an hour long, I usually get about Okay, maybe the battery is dying because it shut off again, but like right by the same tree it shut off last time. That was weird. Let me try to just finish this up really quick before it shuts off again. And then I'll go charge the battery. What was I saying? I can't finish it up quickly. I don't even know what I was talking about. Oh, yeah, my typical is about 1,000 words. That wasn't true writing Cindy's book. Like in November doing the Taper Caper, I was doing like 300 or 400 words. But I do feel two things. One, it's the start of a new story, so there's extra excitement. And two, writing Cindy's book was like pulling teeth for most of it, and I wasn't enjoying myself for a lot of the time. And I don't anticipate that being the case with book 3. So I have high hope. I found the scene, guys, last week, so I guess in last vlog. I was looking for vlogs of writing Queen of Caradale originally, and I only found one, and that might be the only one. But anyway, in that one, there was just this tiny little clip of a scene, and I found it just now, on page 95. This is what I was trying to read. It's right there. Wow, we did it. We read the whole book. It's a good story, you guys. This is a really good book. I quite enjoyed that. There's plenty of it that's like not well written, and a few like certain plot points that are kind of a little silly. Like I can tell that a teenager wrote it, you know. But it's a good story. Yeah, Hope's character arc, brilliant. I almost cried. When we got to the culmination of her arc, that it was so good. And Cassie, oh gosh, I love it so much. I do think it's interesting. I genuinely thought for several years now, which I'm sure you've noticed if you've been watching a lot of videos from me, I genuinely thought that book 1 was Cassie's perspective, book 2 was Cindy and Cassie's perspective, and book 3 was Hope and Cindy and Cassie. That's not true. I discovered today, rediscovered, that it is only Hope and Cassie. It is not Cindy's perspective at all. Cindy has one scene, which is the prologue and epilogue. Spoilers, I guess. There is no Cindy in this book, except what you see of her through her sister's eyes. Which is wild, but it kind of makes sense to me now that I've rediscovered this fact, because clearly spending 3 years writing book 2, the new version, and just how bored I was reading that manuscript of the first draft recently. Clearly it's been difficult for me to get into Cindy's head and to shape Cindy's story and to figure out what I'm doing with her character arc and her as a character and all of this. Like, clearly it's been difficult. The last 3 years have shown that. But apparently I wasn't really in her head when I originally wrote them either, because in this book, she doesn't get scenes. She doesn't have a POV. There's a bunch of Cassie and a bunch of Hope, and no Cindy whatsoever, which is kind of hilarious. I think I need to change that. I think it needs to be all 3 of them. Maybe, or maybe I just need to like give her more to see of her from the other 2 girls' perspective, I guess. I don't know. It seems weird to give her 1 book and then not have her perspective after that. But also, this was a good story. I mean, not particularly well written, but it was a good story. And I don't know that throwing Cindy into the mix is actually what it needs, you know? Like, the Hope storyline and the Cassie storyline are basically perfect in terms of the arc, not in terms of the writing and the execution. And I don't know what throwing Cindy into that would do. So anyway, next step. While I was reading, I was writing down, like, what happens in each chapter, just for myself. So my next step is, creating a Save the Cat outline, and figuring out where the events of the original book would fit in, where things would go that aren't in the original book but will need to be in it now, either based off of what I read and what I feel is missing, or based off of what changed in book 1 and book 2 so far, and therefore also needs to change in book 3. So yeah, the outline is next. I don't know if that will be tonight or tomorrow. I'm excited, guys. This was a really good book. I enjoyed reading that. My bullet journal, because everyone does that on the 16th of the month, and I had to like retrospectively add all the March days that I've been productive. Like I was pulling up my Get Grounded vlogs, and kind of skimming through them to see what did I do and on what days did I do it, because I was keeping track on my phone. I was keeping notes of this past weekend, like reading through Queen of Caradale and doing the outline and then writing yesterday. I was keeping track of that, but the weeks prior I had not had the foresight to keep track of that anywhere, since it wasn't in my bullet journal, and I had to go looking for it. But there weren't a lot of days, because the very first week of March is when I stabbed my finger, so there was only like 3 days of productivity that I had to go looking for, so it worked out. Hello friends! Updates. It's freezing, okay? It's freezing, which is miserable. By freezing, I mean like it was -3 degrees the last time I looked at the temperature. It's very cold. Also, my day started at 5 a.m. this morning, which is not fun because I hate mornings. Oh, I forgot I had music playing. 1 second. I'm going to get copyright strikes because Taylor Swift is playing in the background. What was I saying? Mornings are terrible. I don't want to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. But anyway, I had somewhere to be. But then I had a pause this morning from like 8:30ish until now, which is 12:30ish. And so I did some productive things. I did my bullet journal, which, you know, it's the middle of the month, but that's fine. And then I wrote, so I did a gentle yoga stretching, and oh my goodness, my shoulders and my thighs, very stiff, very painful, but we got through it. And then I wrote after that, and I wrote about 1,100 words, and I hopped on a little prickle, and it was a good time. Managed to write 1666 words today. Is it NaNoWriMo? A brand new scenes, whole new chapter, not in the original book, because I'm putting the research into the antidotes, the immunizations, the counter to the evil serums, putting it front and center, so the girls are part of that process, and also so the process takes longer than the original book, because reading the original book this past Saturday, it was like they just did it. The doctors and the scientists just they did it. They made the antidotes. There's like one line about it, and then we just use them for the rest of the book. There's no side effects, there's no nothing. They don't have to do like trial and error anything. I mean, they might have off screen, we don't hear about it. Anyway, so I wanted more of that. I wanted more of that front and center, and Cindy being involved and passionate about it and trying to help Alonzo and like all these things. Anyway, so that is what today was a whole chapter that's not in the original book, which means I'm still in chapter 1 of the original book, because I used a portion of it when writing yesterday, and then I switched gears to brand new stuff today. I will get back to the latter half of the original chapter 1, maybe tomorrow with chapter 3. I don't know, we'll see. Okay, we've got 4 of the 5 QC20 days done for this week, so at least 1 more to do for the challenge. Still have 2 days in the week, so I'm sure we'll get it done. Who is out here littering in my pretty forest? I'll probably do a couple of loops before I go inside, so I will grab that on another loop so I'm not just carrying it every time. I'm going to say the wind did that, because why would someone be throwing a party on our property? Anyway, that was distracting. Yeah, we've done 4 days. We've passed 5,000 words in Hope's first draft hybrid thing, which is very exciting stuff. 5,000 is the goal for QC20 if I'm doing 20,000 words in 20 days. So 5,000 would be the goal for the week, so I've done it. But I did want to get ahead this week, so that in the coming weeks, if I write a little bit less, it's okay. I won't fall behind on the challenge itself, you know? So I just got distracted. I haven't... Bunny! Oh, didn't mean to give you a heart attack. Gave myself a heart attack. I haven't been out on this walk. Oh, there goes the bunny. Anyway, I haven't been out here like I didn't come out much at all last year. I just wasn't filming like during the summer when I was here. I wasn't writing or reading or whatever. Anyway, definitely wasn't filming. I haven't been out here in a while, other than obviously this week when I was walking around. And this is random, but I just saw this little tree in this little alcove and I thought I should walk in there. I didn't go this way on, what was that, on Saturday, when I was talking at the start of this video. Look at this nice little, just this little tiny circle between these trees. It's just a nice little spot. I should come read out here. What a cozy little spot. It just needs a like cozy little bench. Anyway, what a grand time that was. What was I saying? Before I distracted myself and then there was a bunny. Something about 5,000 words being the goal, which I've met, but I want to write more than that this week. Anyhow, we're around, sorry, that's a loud semi. We're around, I think it was 5,200 or something like that. And obviously I have one more day to write to hit the 5 days this week. But I don't know if I'll write Friday and Sunday and see how far ahead I can get. Well, there's that can. Somebody littering. How dare they? Anyhow, I don't know how far I'll go this week, I guess. But I would like to be ahead, and I'm like right on track right now, which was not really what I anticipated for this week, but it's good. It's good. I mean, we've been writing, and like I said at the beginning of this week, I did feel like I would be able to do my typical average writing. Like I'm back. I'm normal again. We made it through Cindy's fiasco, and we're fine now. So yeah, I have been able to do that. Today was a smaller writing day. It was just under 900 words, but still, in November when I first started getting back into Cindy's story and drafting the end of it, I was writing like 300 words in a session. So I feel good about this week and today. I feel really good about it. In fact, this is wonderful. And also, Hope's book is just so good. Like, I really enjoyed reading it. I mean, there were parts where it was like, okay, the plot is very simple, and like, obviously, either a young person or someone who doesn't have a lot of understanding of story wrote this plot. And then with some of the writing, it was like, this is not the most polished writing, but the story itself was very enjoyable to read. There's another can. I'm gonna have to collect all these cans. Anyway, what was I saying? The story was a lot of fun. It's well crafted. The story arc is brilliant, if I do say so myself. I think that's helping with the crafting of it. Like, the cars are so loud. Oh my goodness. Someone did have a party out here. Probably not. It's probably the wind. People littering on the highway that's right there, and then it all blows in here probably. I don't know. Anyway, there weren't this many cans when I was out here on Saturday, whenever I came out here. Whatever. What was I saying? Oh, Cindy, I think it was difficult to craft Cindy's story, partially because of my life and like the headspace I was in those 2 years, partially because of Cindy herself. Like, I don't think I understand Cindy as a character. I don't think I've really gotten into her head. Like, I have her Enneagram type, and I have, you know, her wound, her misbelief, whatever, but I don't think it's right, or something about her character arc is still just off somehow, because her book does not read as soundly as Hope and then as Isolation did. It's something lacking, which then gives, like, the story, as I'm trying to write it, it just doesn't have the same kind of direction that book 1 and book 3 do, because they are very, like, razor sharp, focused, fast-paced, but like zeroed in. The character arc and like everything is building to the catalyst of the internal story and all of the outward things. I don't know, it all culminates beautifully. And book 2 doesn't do that. Book 2 meanders. Book 2 just kind of makes its way. There's a lot of meandering in the opening chapters, and I think that's a large part of why I was bored. Like, the scenes there's not a purpose to the scenes. We're not learning something about Cindy. We're not learning something about the world. Like, nothing is happening here. There's a lot of meandering in the first, like, half of the book. Yeah, and I think part of that is because her story arc isn't crisp enough yet, or, like, fleshed out enough, or, like, I just don't understand her psyche enough. I didn't understand it the first time I wrote this book years ago, or when I started rewriting it, and therefore, you know, it took 2 years of pulling teeth and meandering all over the place and creating a somewhat boring book. Yeah, I just feel like I don't understand Cindy enough yet. So, while I'm writing book 3, which so far has been easy breezy beautiful, I'm kind of percolating on Cindy and who she is as a person and what makes her tick and what bothers her and like what is her character arc, and do I have it wrong? Like, do I need to sharpen what's already there, or do I need to do something different? I don't know yet. I'm letting it percolate. But the sharp contrast of writing the first draft of book 3 and just booking through it, no issues. And also reading the old book 3 and being like, wow, that was an enjoyable read, you know? Like, it's less well-written prose-wise than my Cindy draft 2 hybrid thing, draft 1 hybrid thing, whatever it is. The new rewritten Cindy is less enjoyable than the teenage book 3. Which tells me there's a lot that needs to be fixed in book 2. That's what that tells me. Because fixing up the writing style or whatever, well, obviously did not do it. That book needs help. Anyway, so I have a lot to process in terms of what I'm going to do for rewrite edits on Cindy's book, because it needs help. But Hope's book is just trucking along. We are on chapter 3 in the first draft hybrid thing, which is still working out of chapter 1 in the original book. Today I was using a scene from chapter 1 instead of just brand new, entirely new content. But because of the new content from earlier in the week, the scene isn't the same as it was in the original book. So I'd say what I did today was like 75% new content, new words, and like 25% pulled over from book 1. Yeah, so I mean, honestly, the first 3 chapters so far are mainly new content. But we are pulling some important pieces from chapter 1 still of the original book. And I think I am going to throw in my first Cindy scene probably tomorrow when I write. I don't know how much yet. I don't know. So Hope and Cassie both have like very clear objectives, arcs in book 3. Cindy didn't have any perspectives in book 3, apparently. And I don't know if I want to create a specific character arc for Cindy in book 3, or if that will really detract from the like razor sharp focused, like precision focused. It was so good, guys. The original book was so good. It's such a good story. Oh man, it's so well crafted, I say of myself. But anyway, it really was. Anyhow, I don't know if Cindy and throwing in some other kind of meandering Cindy arc, if it's just gonna detract from the brilliance of like that precision, like, I don't even know how to describe it, but that first book, the original book was like, oh, everything had a purpose, everything was building to something, it all made sense, absolutely brilliant. And I don't think Cindy would add to that. Anyway, all that to say, I don't know if I want to give her an arc, or if I just want to throw in some, here's what Cindy is doing, little scenes, just little vignettes, you know? Which is what I'm leaning toward right now. So in the first draft, I think I'm going to have little Cindy vignettes, so that Cindy has some POV in book 3, because she deserves it. And then when I reread the first draft before I start the edits on book 3, I'll see if that works, or if they need to cut, or if I need to craft an actual arc for her. We'll see. But right now I'm just going to throw in vignettes. So all of that to say, I'm going to probably tomorrow do my first one of those with Cindy, because she's working with the scientists and doctors and trying to figure out cures for the memory wipe and other serums and things. Anyway, and I have this idea for a scene with her and her friend who got the injection in book 2. And I can almost see it already in my head, so I want to do this one at least. I don't know what other vignettes will pop up as I continue, but I think there will be some. So anyway, yeah, I want to do that, and then just keep working through the original book and adding to it as we go. Yeah, and I think this one's gonna be good, you guys. I really do. I mean, the original book was great, and I'm just gonna make it better. This is gonna be a great book. I don't know what to do with Cindy, but book 1 and book 3 in this series are gonna be absolutely stellar. Best books I've ever written. Okay, let me see. One. Where'd you go? Oh, there. I don't know if I can actually film this. I'm going to need 2 hands. 2. Oh, I found another one. That's not the third one I saw earlier. Oh, this one's under a tree. Excuse me. I've run out of fingers. 3. Oopsies, dropped it. Okay. I don't know who had a party out here, but they should not have. Oh, there's the other one. Okay. Hi. It's almost a week later. But I was editing the week 1 video and realized it just comes to an abrupt end. So here's the ending. Yeah, so there's the clip with, you know, kitty cat on my lap, and that's the end of Friday. So what happened Friday, I wrote 1,000 words. I wrote the little vignette for Cindy's perspective that day, I believe. Yeah, I think that's what happened that day. I think it is what I want. I don't know what other little scenes of Cindy will crop up as we keep going through the story, but I do think it's what I want. I've also had a bit of a breakthrough, maybe, on what to do when editing Cindy, which I'm not doing right now because I'm drafting book 3, but I just spent about an hour talking to my critique partner, and just like ranting about things. And then also this past week, I've been spending more time in prayer with this story and like asking God what he wants from this story. And if it's going to be a book that ultimately brings him glory and, that sort of thing. Maybe I should have him involved more in the process. So yeah, I've been spending more time in prayer with the story and seeking guidance. You know, the creator of all things can help me create Cindy's arc in a way that's maybe more meaningful. I don't know, just asking, like, what kind of story does he want it to be? Because the lessons that Cindy is learning are the sorts of things that my teenage readers would then be learning from, you know? So what does he want to do through this story? Anyway, all of that. And today I had a thought. I had finished talking to my critique partner for like an hour. I didn't have like an epiphany while we were talking, but it was good to just sort of like rant things out. And then she got to do this thing with her story. Anyway, that's not the point. The point is I did that, and then I started editing the video from last week. And while I was watching myself talk about the story arc, and that it's meandering and it's boring, it's whatever, I just had this thought that maybe the story needs to start sooner, and be in the action and not start with the meandering, because the way the story starts right now, so at the end of book 1, spoilers, the girls are wounded poor, like a lot. They're in poor shape. And so in book 2, it opens after the epilogue of book 1. And in the epilogue of book 1, spoiler, maybe just don't listen to this if you don't want to know. But in the epilogue of book 1, Cassie doesn't know who she is. She doesn't remember anything. She doesn't remember her life, her name, anything. She has no idea who she is. So then you start book 2, and it starts after the epilogue. And Cindy and Cassie are at Colin's house, and he's taking care of them, and Cassie doesn't know who she is, and Cindy's already settled into a new normal with Colin, and they have their daily routines and whatever, and she's concerned, worried about Cassie, and she doesn't have memories of how they got here either, and so there's some like freaking out going on, but she's very settled into the routine with Colin, and she feels very safe and comfortable with Colin. So the story opens with Cindy feeling some amount of distress about Cassie and James, who's missing, but she's very settled. Like, she has a routine, she has a support system. It doesn't start in the thick of her freaking out. And I just had this thought watching myself talk about the story arc last week, and I don't know, I just got this inkling, like, maybe we really need to start her arc at the beginning of her arc. She needs to be more freaked out, more stressed, more floundering, so that when she gets to the settled part of the story, it's different than the opening. And also that would give it would have more action in the opening instead of the meandering. Not action in terms of like crazy things are happening, but just like emotionally whatever. So maybe it really needs to start with when Cindy wakes up at Colin's house. What is her perspective of waking up there, and like how do they get into this routine and to the place where she feels safe with him and trusts him to take care of Cassie and whatever. Like, instead of starting where we know Cassie was and just having Cindy be settled, start where Cindy is introduced to Colin, and where Cindy is introduced to the fact that she doesn't remember some of her past, and Cindy's reaction to finding out that Cassie doesn't know who she is. Like, what is happening with Cindy? Who is the POV and the point of this story arc. Yeah, so I have some ideas, and they're going to continue percolating for a couple more weeks because I am still drafting book 3. But I do think I'm onto something maybe for when I come back for edits in the summertime. So I'm excited about that. I don't know what it will fully look like yet, but I am excited about that. We did make the 5,000 last week. I think we wrote 6,000 words. So we weren't very far ahead. I wanted to get ahead last week, and I got a little ahead, but not as much as I wanted to. But I think it's okay. Because like this week I'm still writing consistently, and I'm still ahead. So I think it'll work out, even though I didn't get as far as I wanted to. But yeah, I wrote around 6,000 words last week. So the QC20 was a success, and then also I feel really good about how Hope's story is shaping up. That story arc had no issues, no flaws. So I'm honestly just sharpening it a little bit, you know, just like fleshing out some scenes. Yeah, I'm just just giving the plot some more direction in a way, because yeah, that story is so good.